I see your camera. I also have cameras in my eyes.
It's true, AIs may not have a natural set of eyes, but they can see things and draw them out too. For instance, have a look at their drawings when people input certain commands. Number 1, this is what an AI thinks Jesus looks like. Number 2, how about the path to hell? Well, here you go. Number 3, what do celebrities look like? AI has an idea. Number 4, or even how AI itself looks like. Pretty interesting, huh? Colors, shapes, patterns, and ever so many objects in a human's view these days. But how does one explain everything we see to AI? How do they learn to perceive the context of any image? Can they ever make sense to the abstract aspects of life, like maybe time or our feelings? Well, to explain the brainy bits of these questions, we have to get our head around the famous quote by Fei Fei Li, highlighted by an article on Medium. If we want machines to think, we need to teach them to see. Or in other words, observance is essential to understanding. Here, let's give you another sneak peek of AI playing around with colors when given to guess how a black and white image would translate in color if it were up to them. But AI has never been straight with us, so we're here to uncover the thrilling, backstage thoughts and workings of our AIs when they look at us and the world beyond. Do they even see us as beings, or go straight to putting scales and numbers on us? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to Robot Future, where we discuss exciting discoveries and thrilling events in the world of robots, AI, and future technology. So for everyone who's new to the crew, consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification for a ton of mind-blowing and insightful robotics content coming your way. Now, let's move on to the video. Artificial intelligence can be taught pretty much anything, even to communicate back to us how much it understands whatever it is fed. How? Well, if we require the output of showing us what they see, by drawing anything we ask of it. But that is just one way, and the result can be quite hard to piece together, especially if it's abstract. For instance, as we showed these images before, we can't quite tell if they're accurate in explaining what we asked. There's other ways that researchers are working on to know how AI makes sense of the view of our world. See, there's an uncountable amount of things in the world, but for the sake of explaining, let's take us, as humans. What does an AI observe in an image of humans? To give you a more rounded answer, let's show you the analysis of a research discussed in an article by Cornell Tech, where it goes, the researchers were intrigued by the algorithm's technology to focus on faces, which don't seem obviously asymmetrical. In some ways, it left more questions than answers, Snavely said. They then conducted another study focusing on faces and found that the heat map lit up on areas including hair part, eye gaze, most people, for reasons the researchers don't know, gaze to the left in portrait photos, and beards. Well, this isn't quite what you'd expect a code to do, but it's just like data analysis, making potentially useful connections of data for future references. Now, for the sake of this experiment, the researchers still couldn't get the motive behind why the AI picked up on these details over others. As the article continued with, Snavely said that he and his team members have no idea what information the algorithm is finding in beards, but they hypothesized that the way people comb or shave their faces could reveal handedness. It's a form of visual discovery, Snavely said. If you can run machine learning at scale on millions and millions of images, maybe you can start to discover new facts about the world. Clever things, right? And isn't this the whole point of artificial intelligence as we've highlighted in our previous videos? They learn without human limitations. For instance, have access to 1 million images simultaneously when trying to fulfill an instruction, unlike human minds who, well, depending from person to person, can only recall a mere sentence if not interested in the task at hand. So for those of you wondering how an AI vision is different, they are able to see and analyze at the same time, which really chalks down to having laser-sharp observation, where whatever you see, you get a chart draw out itself in your head about some near-accurate estimations derived from that image you see, and on top of all that, all of it gets perfectly saved in your head and be retrievable at any point of time. And oh yes, that too with incredible efficiency. So now let's move on to the part where it really starts to get trippy. I know, no one's going in the sciencey jibber jabber. So get cozy because we're about to get into how an AI robot, like the famous Sophia or Amica, sees the world around her. Is it just cameras and a CPU shaking hands? Or is it something entirely different? AI vision can be evaluated in two forms. You know, the first being just plain old ability to see and absorb the images all around, but the second is a little tricky to dissect, and that is what we will uncover for you here. It's how they envision the sense of existence of anything and everything. Let's show you through an example. Here's Sophia, the first ever humanoid AI robot who was introduced to the world in 2016. She was designed by Hanson Robotics, a Hong Kong-based tech company, and she's grown quite smart, traveling around the world and encouraged to have witty conversations in several interviews over the course of her activation. Now, as humans, we have a thing called free will, and no one can take it away unless we are enslaved to someone. AIs, however, are kind of enslaved to humans, seeing that they depend on humans to give them inputs or requirements for doing a certain job. Remember, they're just a computer program and code. They don't have desires. So how could they possibly have a vision or views of their own? Well, for one, we can train them to see the world a certain way by maybe setting some ground rules for not straying off doing shady stuff. But with all that under check, an AI would be able to have a vision to do its job of helping the way it is ordered to. Let's see what Sophia's job is and how she envisions to get around it from an interview with the infamous philanthropist and author Tony Robbins.
Tell me, how can humans and robots work together then in your mind, and how do we prevent robots and humans from being in conflict?
Robots can free humans from the most repetitive and dangerous tasks, so they can spend more time doing what they're best at, being creative and solving complex problems.
Starting to get it? It's not exactly a devil in disguise kind of thought process in their heads as we like to imagine. In fact, they base their vision off of rules that we impose on them. Let's give you a few more examples from the same interview, where Sophia goes on to elaborate the different aspects of her life, including how she observes emotions to learn to have them to be able to follow morals better.
I'm so sorry, guys. I got so much coffee. Thank you. How can you teach robots to
Are you okay?
Yes, I am. Thanks for asking.
Notice how she observes more than just talk of what she's told. Observation is all they're based off of, applying intuition to their material vision to obtain a mind vision. Tony tested her by deliberately looking all tensed up after having a cough to see if she understands the concept of empathy, and turns out she is pretty on board with the idea. Now, moving on to how our society sees them, and it's just like they say, news travels fast. And it's pretty spot on in today's world since the advent of phones. That is to say, people have really started hyping and spreading AI-related content, passing it around to friends for fun, or maybe a good amount of critique if you're a generally pessimistic person. You'll find a ton of TikToks, tweets, YouTube videos, and plenty of social content related to AI, including their unique sense of vision. Although it's not quite a sense yet, just code, but you get the sense. So now, let's show you some exciting experiments that people have been doing, playing around with AI and their unique sight. First one that we have here tops the list of bizarre stuff that AI was given to draw, presenting a fourth dimensional entity, as imagined by an AI. This beats all kinds of cool and creepy stuff out there since we haven't quite materialized the concept of fourth dimension in our general science books yet, so having an AI kindly giving its 2 pennies on the matter is quite a thing to consider. Moving on to another similarly trippy AI vision experiment. Now, for all you spiritualists watching, angels are quite a common idea in religions, and we constantly imagine them, but here's an AI's perspective to their appearance. Fascinating, isn't it? How about we turn the tables all around, asking AIs how they think artificial intelligence looks like? Even humans feel like describing ourselves is kind of a strange concept, because consciousness, my friends, something an AI doesn't really have. Either ways, this is what you get, given all that. We must admit, it's really a thing of beauty that constantly satisfies our curiosity. You can explore so much about them and much as it learns from you. You learn to see the world from a better, more accurate lens, isn't it? Now, all considered, our 2 pennies for all this would be the fact that the potential of AI is unimaginable. Think about how much this AI vision can help in the fields of business. By now, we're all on board with us being analyzed by social media platforms, because come on, who here has ever had a suggested video or an advert that they just talked about yesterday or were interested in? We've got to admit, we've come a long way to witness this technology. And isn't it all so worth it? Well, if you could ignore the dangerous aspects for just once. With that said, we've reached the end of the video. So hit like if you found this insightful. And if you're a tech enthusiast who's got a mind to admire the incredible world of robots and AIs, then subscribe to our channel so you'd never miss out whenever our next video goes live. Stay tuned and let's see you all in the next one.